Hey everybody, welcome back to Guns and Gadgets, your source for Second Amendment news. I got a lot of emails in the last week of why aren't you talking about Missouri? When are you going to talk about what's going on in Missouri? The truth is, did mention it in the live stream I did with Liberty Doll. If you didn't watch that, you probably don't know. So I thought I'd do another video about Missouri. Also, another reason I've been leaning back the last couple days is I've worked a lot of hours, multiple shifts, sleeping 2 hours a day, still trying to do the dad thing. So something had to give. And it was the video time. But here we are. I will do another video on Missouri because there's some good happening in Missouri. 4 bills in particular we'll talk about today. And I'll have links in the description to all those bills like I always do. Let's talk about them. The first two are going to be submitted by State Representative Andrew McDaniel. And the first one is House Bill 1052. HB 1052 looks to establish what is being called the McDaniel Second Amendment Act. And I'll read you right from the bill about this act because it's kind of cool, but it's also one that I think I don't know the makeup in Missouri, the political makeup, but a bill like this in most states would not have a chance because of the way it's worded. But let's get into it. So this bill is pretty short. It says every resident in this state shall own at least one handgun. Now the target date for this bill is August 29th of 2019, and it goes into that as well. It says any resident 21 years of age or older who does not own a handgun on August 28th, 2019 shall have 1 year to purchase a handgun. Also says any resident who becomes 21 after this bill passes and still does not own a handgun shall purchase one prior to them reaching the age of 22. It even goes into the sale of firearms. It says a resident may sell a handgun provided the resident owns at least one handgun at all times. So if you want to sell your gun, you have to have a second gun. See where I'm saying that this might not pass just because it's telling people what to do with their lives, and that's not what government gets to do, but this is a good thought overall. It also says that for tax years beginning on or after January 1st, 2019, so this year is encumbered in there, a taxpayer who did not own a handgun before he or she was required to own a handgun shall be allowed to claim a tax credit against such taxpayer's income tax liability, and it's going to be equal to 75% of the cost of the handgun purchase. So if you don't have the gun on the magic date of August 28th, 2019, and you go out and purchase one to satisfy this new law, should it pass, they're going to credit you, they're going to pay you back or give you a tax credit for 3/4 of the cost of that gun. So if this does pass and you're in Missouri, this is your opportunity to go out and get one of the high-speed guns that cost a lot of money, not a $100 high point, because you're going to get 75% of the cost back. Now, it does say that this tax credit is capped at $1 million, and it's a first-come, first-served basis. Now, the next bill that State Rep McDaniel put in is HB 1108, and HB 1108 is being entitled the McDaniel Militia Act. Same as the handgun bill, this is for AR-15s, specifically AR-15s. This bill does the same. If you're 21 or older, you shall have an AR-15. If you don't, you have a year to purchase one. The 75% tax credit also looks to be created for this purchase as well. And all in all, looks to strengthen the Second Amendment in Missouri. Now, both of these bills have had 2 readings, but there are no hearings scheduled at this time. I'll have links, like I said, in the description. You can keep track. I don't know if this gets a hearing or not. If you live in Missouri and you might know a little more about this, feel free to let me know, and I'll look into it. Now, the 2 bills that I really like that were introduced in Missouri are Senate Bill 367 and House Bill 786. Again, links are in the description. And these 2 bills are sister bills in both sides of the House, both chambers. And what it looks to do is create the Second Amendment Preservation Act in Missouri. Now, these bills look to ban any person, including any public official or public employee of the state or any political subdivision thereof, from enforcing any past, present, or future federal acts of gun control. Now, the bills go into defining infringements, which is the part of the bills that I actually absolutely love. And I'm going to read them so that I don't screw them up, but links will be in the description. So under the Second Amendment Preservation Act, taxes and fees on firearms or firearms accessories or ammunition that would have a chilling effect on firearms ownership. Those taxes and fees are called infringements under these bills. Also, registration and tracking schemes applied to firearms, firearms accessories, or ammunition would also be an infringement. You're seeing this happen right now federally. You got all those new bills and bans that are being proposed. Watch this channel if you don't know what I'm talking about, because they're all here. This is everything that the liberal left is looking to put through right now. So Missouri's stepping up to try to protect their citizens. Next, under the infringements, any act forbidding the possession, ownership, or use or transfer of a firearm, firearm accessory, or ammunition by law-abiding citizens. Also, any act ordering the confiscation of firearms, firearms accessories, or ammunition from law-abiding citizens. Bump stock ban takes place Tuesday. Today is Sunday the 24th. In 2 days, the federal bump stock ban takes place. If this were to pass Monday morning, which it's not, this would stop the bump stock ban from taking place in Missouri. Now, as I read this bill, this would also take the NFA of 1934, the National Firearms Act, out of play in Missouri, which is a great thing. Also in this law, it says that anybody, federal law enforcement official, anybody who knowingly deprives somebody of their Second Amendment rights can be sued in court for damages. And here's the best quote in the whole bill. If you're in like me and you read them, here's the best quote of it. Quote, "Sovereign, official, or qualified immunity shall not be an affirmative defense in such actions." As many of you know, oftentimes when the feds create up these laws, they often make themselves immune to that. Meaning, if we confiscate or we ban and confiscate firearms, there's official immunity, which means that, oh, I'm an official, I can still do it because you're just the little people. Well, that is clearly not the case here in these bills in Missouri. These also include provisions that would apply to federal agents who knowingly enforce or attempt to enforce any infringing act as identified under this law, or the bill right now, but also says that they, meaning these officers, would be permanently ineligible to serve as law enforcement officers or to supervise law enforcement officers in the state or any political subdivision of the state, simply just because a cop or a law enforcement official in Missouri helped the feds to effect some gun control in the state, some federal gun control. So this is saying, you know what? If you want to infringe on citizen rights, you can't even be a cop in this state anymore. I like that. Now, some people don't realize that this could actually happen legally because states are considered partners with the federal government, and those laws, which are not specifically granted to the federal government under the Constitution of the United States, are reserved to, those powers are reserved for the states. So if it doesn't say in the document that they don't want to read or abide by that they can do it, they can't do it. I also want to read you a quick quote from James Madison. Great man, great mind. James Madison said that the refusal to cooperate with officers of the Union represents an extremely effective method to bring down federal gun control measures because most enforcement actions rely on help, support, and leadership from state and local governments. What he's telling you is back then that, and this was the Federalist Papers, that if the federal government doesn't get help in the state to affect gun control, it can't happen. Because there's not 50 million FBI agents who are going to kick in all the doors of all of us who own legal, lawful guns. Now there's even a legal basis for this if it were to go through, and that comes from what's known as the anti-commandeering doctrine. It's a U.S. Supreme Court case from 1842, Prince, P-R-I-N-T-Z versus U.S. It states, "The federal government cannot force states to help implement or enforce any federal act or program. The anti-commandeering doctrine is based primarily on 5 Supreme Court cases dating back from what I told you." So where does it go from here? Currently, they have not been scheduled for hearing, either one of them. Once they get assigned to their committee, they'll have a hearing. They'll have to come out of their committee with a majority vote before they can make it to the floor of each chamber for a full vote. If it were passed, if the House side were to pass, then it would be passed over to the Senate. Vice versa, then it would go to the governor for the signature or the veto. So that is what's going on in Missouri that has the Second Amendment community in a buzz. I think that it could be very, very positive. I'm not sure that the shall purchase guns will pass because, government is not supposed to tell people what to do, even when it's related to a right. You can't force somebody to purchase anything. That's extortion. So I don't see those two passing. It'd be great if they said may instead of shall. We'll still allow everybody who wants to own a gun to have a gun, and we'll help you pay for it by giving you a tax credit. That'd be fantastic. But the last two, about the Second Amendment Preservation Act, 2 thumbs up from Guns and Gadgets. Not that that means anything. But if you're interested in the Second Amendment news, this is where you're going to find it, good, bad, or ugly. Please subscribe and join. Hit that bell icon because sometimes YouTube will tell you when I put out new content. Those who have been around for a while know exactly what I'm talking about. Until we see each other again, this is JR from Guns and Gadgets. Please join all of my social media listed in all of the links below in every description. And until we see each other again, be safe, stay vigilant, and carry a weapon. Way to go, Missouri. Take care, everybody.